Hey, so this is actually a part 2 of the video. First one was the 90s Toy Biz Spider-Man figures, so hope you're able to check that out. If you haven't, check it out after this, check it out now. Doesn't matter, some of the figures are referenced in this, but this one is focusing on the Marvel Universe figures, so enjoy. Let's get into the newer ones. 2010 it says on the back of this one. So this is one of the bigger ones. They had some 3-packs, and they had some like X-Force, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Fantastic Four. I think they even had a West Coast Avengers one. And this one,
That's Spidey and Friends.
they did. They had a Spidey and His Amazing Friends one, yeah. They had lots. There was one with the hand, with Elektra and 2 hand soldiers. I'm sure there was a Shield one with Nick Fury and somebody. But yeah, so this one is the classic Avengers. And
63 Avengers.
it is. It's the original Avengers, pre-Cap, like Avengers 1.
Yeah.
You got the gold-suited Iron Man. You got a nice classic Thor. A really good classic Hulk. And what's really nice is it's not just these 3 figures. If you look really closely at the top, you've got the Wasp. You've got Ant-Man.
Actual size.
Yeah, actual size. And the Ant-Man's got a weird straddling, like he's riding position, and that's because it also comes with an ant for him to ride.
Anti.
I don't think this one actually has a name. It just says Ant-Man and Wasp. So, there weren't ant rights back then. A pretty good 3-pack, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, definitely the Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think these other characters are all exclusive to this package.
Yeah, they are.
Some other nice ones we've got here, and all the way from San Diego Comic-Con 2010, you've got Thor, Age of Thunder.
So that'd be like Gore and
It might be around that time.
Yeah.
2010. So I don't,
Age
not
of
quite.
Thunder got
But really good. These ones come with some really nice silver, chrome. A really nice Thor figure, to be honest.
Is it numbered?
This one is not numbered.
On the back there's no number?
No, because it's a convention exclusive. I think later on down the line, they did do a repaint of this, but this particular version was exclusive to Comic-Con 2010. We've also got this one I remember being one of my favorites.
Oh, that Cap?
Captain America from the Ultimates. And it's his World War II look.
That's sweet.
I personally find this to be one of the best Captain America action figures of all time.
That's even better than my silver one down there.
Yeah, this is the... Actually, I think there's one of those in here. Yeah, right here, I can see it. More like that one. But yeah, he's got his World War II outfit. Removable helmet, comes with a gun, nice triangular shield. Super detailed, great paint job. And it's a con exclusive. You kind of, that's what you expect, right? Is a good sculpt, a good paint job. This one I did also have an open one of, and it was slightly different because it was actually a repaint done for the Captain America movie. So it's strange that these con exclusive ones got repaints, but nice that they're made a little bit more widely available. This one I remember being a bit harder to find as a kid. And this is Thanos. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet on that hand. He's got a empty hand down there. And what's nice about some of these earlier waves, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second wave, and I can kind of remember what they are just from these logos here. So these were during the Agent of Hammer wave. Yeah, so I can see the back here, Series 2. So they all came with, and I don't know if you can quite see it, there's like a little file back there. And all of them had like a little bio, a little, some tidbit that he told you about the character, whether they were good or bad, kind of like the little dossiers you get on the back of G.I. Joe figures. and it was a nice little addition. And from some of the later runs, not a bad sculpt on this figure too, actually. I can't think of too many Beta Ray Bill action figures. And I'm sure people can think of even less good ones. I do believe there was a Marvel Legends one back when Toy Biz was doing it. So I imagine that one probably looks pretty good. But a pretty solid figure all around. These ones are more adult. I think by the end of the series, it was adults collecting them, not so much the kids, because some of the figures they do are a little bit more that the adult reader would remember. I don't think too many kids were very excited to have a horse-looking Thor. And from later in that same wave, I believe that one is 4. So I think this series only got five series of them, maybe 6. But that later one ended up being a lot of reprints. And unlike the Rhino from the Spider-Man line, of course we're talking almost a 20-year difference, a really good Rhino figure. It was very detailed. That's something that I will give Hasbro credit for on these figures that some of them have lost now, is the detail on them is really great. The paint was a great paint job done to them. They have highlights, like you can see along his chest there. He's got some highlights. He's got great shading, but also the texture of them. He really does look like he has a rhino's hide. A pretty good figure overall. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh! A Batman animated series Nightwing. I would imagine probably from the DC Direct line. Looks like it. Not a bad Nightwing figure.
So he's got that big weirdo hair.
Yeah, the mullet. Oh, here's a nice special one. Our first variant. And strangely enough with this one, it's the Vision, and he's translucent. This is what the main figure looked like. Where are we? Right here. But this version was easier to find than the main version. The variant was easier to find, which is strange. And I can't think to date any time I've actually seen the Solid Vision. And he wasn't a very popular character back at this point. It was before the Avengers had him in the movies. And I don't think he'd really been in too much media-wise, other than comics. I'm sure he'd been in games. But around this time, he wasn't a huge character. In fact, I think he was dead again. Not a bad figure. You can't really see the detail on him because he is translucent, but you can see through the art on the back of what it would have looked like. He's a pretty faithful figure to a nice classic Vision. A character that is one of my personal favorites. What else do we have? So this one is from the original line. And I can tell because it's got the original S.H.I.E.L.D. logo here. This one, I think I must have had 2 of these unopened because I played with them so hard that their joints all broke and fell apart. This one is based off of the Ultimate Comics. And most of these were at the time. It's just a regular old Captain America. Probably like that San Diego Comic-Con is my absolute favorite Captain America figure. This one's probably a very close second. A really good figure. And I can see just looking in here, there's definitely 2 other Captain America figures. So there seems to be a lot of Captain Americas here. Here. This one, I believe, is a reissue, repaint from the earlier waves. Iron Fist. This is the standard one. There was a variant as well with yellow and gold rather than green and gold. Again, a character that wasn't hugely popular at the time, something that was more for the really die-hard fans. But a good figure. Comes with a nice little flame to put on his fist. Only has one, but only one of his fists is in a punching motion. He might require a little bit of medical attention for that weirdly bent knee and ankle. Again, good figure, good paint jobs. The art on them, I don't find the art to be quite as good as it is with the Spider-Mans. These ones are really nice art. The other ones I think are pulled more almost exactly from comic panels, actually. Okay, let's see if I can find the other one. I don't see it right off the hop. No. So we'll circle back to it. Instead of doing regular variants later down the line and adding more characters, or having additional characters rather, they started doing them as variants. And this is an example of one of them. And I might have in here the other example of another two characters that are done as a variant of each other. Not sure why. So this one is Abomination. However, it is A-Bomb, which I believe
That's Rick Jones.
I was going to say is Rick Jones. I know I saw it in here, just the regular Abomination as well. But instead of doing him as his own figure, they just made it as a variant. But both of them occupy the box art, and both of them occupy a spot on the back of the box. So, like I said before, they got a little bit lazy with the later runs of this. I think it was more so for the fans. They were ramping down, and they had sculpts that I think they just wanted to get out. Who do we have next? Oh, here we go. A nice classic character. This is one you would think they would have done it as a variant, but it's actually his own figure, and again in the earlier wave, the Red Hulk.
You should tell everybody how I used to have like that whole complete line and sold it.
You did have a pretty close to complete line.
And I sold it to the company in the States
Mm-hmm.
for like $1,500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I forgot. You had almost a whole room full of them, eh?
It was over 100.
The whole office, yeah. I forgot about that. But yeah, a really good Red Hulk figure. I wouldn't say at the height of his popularity, because he's still very popular, but I know he was extremely popular around the time that these were being produced.
That was hard to get, an expensive one at the time.
It was.
It still is.
This one's from 2008, so I would imagine it is probably from a little bit after.
That's right when he came out.
Yeah, because I don't think.
I don't even think then they knew
I don't.
who he
Yeah,
was.
it doesn't even say who he is here, and I wonder if his little secret shield file there would say, but he doesn't say on there anywhere that it's General Ross. Interesting to see how history unfolds. Next, okay, so like I was saying with the 90s Mysterio, he's a bit tough to make look good. And this one suffers kind of in the same problem, is you can either make the dome and cape look good or his body. This one does a great job with his dome and with his cape, but his body, it's lacking detail. I like Mysterio when he's got that weird cross design on it, but this one is just, it's so plain. It leaves a little bit to be desired. The design on his gauntlets are great. He's got this little swirls. It is a decent figure, but again, it's one of those ones in the later line. It's in Series 5. They sort of cut back how detailed they were doing. It's a good figure. Could have been better. And actually looking at it, I think his cape is translucent.
Really?
I think so.
Just towards the edges.
Yeah. Here,
Like
actually,
it's fading away.
this one, it was a variant. And there might be in here, I know you definitely had one before. It was a variant.
It was a gray one too, right?
And that's what it is. It's the Grey Hulk. But This one is not a variant. This is his own, as you can see on the picture, the Grey Hulk. Back in Wave 1, there was the Hulk that was green and a variant of the Hulk that was gray. It wasn't its own figure, it was just a variant of it.
That one's like Joe Fix-It.
Yeah, it actually is kind of like Joe Fix-It. Why?
It just needs a shirt.
Yeah, they could have just threw a tank top on him and it could have been a great Joe Fix-It. What a weird omission. It would have made it more unique from the one they'd done prior. Here's a personal favorite of mine. Professor X.
That one's gotta be worth some sweet cash.
I'm sure it is. He's got his hover chair there. And I don't think you really get too many Professor X figures.
Or with the hover chairs, is that one
But-
or that one that's out now?
Right.
The Legends?
That's right.
Yeah.
The Marvel Legends. Yeah, that's right. They have that. I forgot they had that now. A really good figure. Series 4. And Series 4 is kind of where it peaked. I would say Series 4 peaked at how good it was. But an overall good figure. Series 4 ended up putting little comic portraits in the corner instead of the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo or the Hammer logo. And there's a second S.H.I.E.L.D. logo, I think, for the third series. But a really good figure. Later on the line, because the X-Men didn't have their own toy line at the time, you got a lot of X-Men figures. Early on, you got a lot of Iron Man, because it started around when the Iron Man movie came out in 2008. You got lots of Iron Mans, you got lots of Spider-Mans. But later on, you got a lot more X-Men, and a lot more obscure X-Men. Like this one. I don't know in individual packages if they ever gave us a regular colored Magneto. I know there was a 2-pack based on the Secret Wars that gave us a regular Magneto, but this one is based more off of, I would imagine, Ultimatum and the Ultimate Magneto. He's darker colors. He's purple on purple, very very dark. It's even hard to show on the screen because it's so dark. Still, not a bad figure. This is out of the third wave, so I said that's where you started to see more emergence of X-Men figures. But strange that they wouldn't do a variant for this one of a regular Magneto.
That's like the Ultimate version.
That's what I was saying, or like Ultimatum and the Ultimate.
That's when the Ultimate comics were riding high, man.
Yeah, that's what, and most of these were based off of the Ultimate comics. Like this one, which I am positive is the first Miles Morales figure. But he was a variant of the regular Ultimate Spider-Man. This is what he would have looked like. So just your regular Ultimate Spider-Man, big eyes, really gangly, a great figure.
That's gotta be for some.
But I'm sure it must be credited as the first Miles Morales figure. And a great figure at that.
It is great.
It is. It's not. He's not a hard figure to do, but I find the proportions of Miles now, because he's a little bit older in the comics now, he's a little bit more bulky, and it's the same reason that I prefer Ultimate Spider-Man opposed to the modern, the way they draw him. Is he's thinner. He's really
Gangly.
he's gangly. And I remember you used to pre-order all of them and get them delivered. And I remember when we saw this one on the pre-order list, I said, I wonder if the Ultimate Spider-Man is going to be, when it said it was a variant. Oh yeah, well I don't know if it pre-ordered or they came off of Big Bad Toys or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I remember having a discussion saying, I wonder if the variant is going to be that new Black Spider-Man. And yeah, sure enough, it ended up being that. Lo and behold, huge character now. Here we've got Hawkeye, but it's Dark Hawkeye. So it's not actually Clint Barton.
It's Bullseye.
It's Bullseye. This is during the Dark Avengers run. Still, you wouldn't know the difference.
Because that was the only Hawkeye they put out like that.
It is. I think the West Coast came with a Hawkeye. I could be wrong. But not sure why they wanted to include that it's the Dark Avengers style Hawkeye. It looks the exact same, but maybe it was just to be a little bit more relevant with the time. Probably would have sold better if they just said Hawkeye. But funnily enough, the next figure I have next to it is Bullseye.
You should have those two next to each other on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll be finding room and putting most of these up on the wall. These retro ones are going to go up next to my, or the Spider-Mans rather, are going to go up to my retro Marvel Legend ones. But yeah, you got Bullseye. He's from the first wave, number 10. And he may have had a variant. I don't remember. So many of these early ones had very minor differences in their variants.
There's a blue costume and a black costume.
Right, and this one's got like the blue-gray. And I think the black one was the variant.
Black with white.
Yeah. But really good figure. I mean, the gun on him does seem a little bit large. I'm not a gun enthusiast. I don't know. But he's got a knife. A nice little knife there. And his other hand, which I find is weird that it wasn't... I guess alternate hands are hard to do for the 3/4 inch size figures. He's got playing cards in there.
Sweet.
Yeah, I never noticed that.
Gambit, dude.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if Gambit's in this lot, but Gambit definitely was a character I remember seeing on shelves.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, I have that box actually of all these figures. Most of them are missing arms and heads.
We got lots of those from
Galaxy.
Well, I was gonna say the Galaxy booth that Winnipeg Comic Con.
Yeah, so shout out to Galaxy for fueling my childhood. Another hard figure to find, and our second of the evening, is the Black Suit Spider-Man. This one is probably one of the better Black Suit Spider-Man's figures, and it's for the simple reason he has highlights, the blue highlights. Most figures have him in a pure black, and I don't particularly like that. I think it looks lazy.
Is there a Moon Knight in there?
I don't know if there's a Moon Knight in here, but I do have a Moon Knight figure.
I do remember
open.
This first appearance Wolverine. Yeah.
Hey, no spoilers, eh? Get out of there. Yeah, get out of there. You can,
Fuck,
you can watch it with everyone else. I know. Selling those...
Well, I needed $1,500.
Yeah, well... That's what collecting's about. You sell it all off and you get it all back.
It's business, that's not collecting.
Here's one. This one, I do believe... Actually, I think this one... It's hard to tell which is number 1, but this is one of the original wave. There was only 4 figures. There was Silver Surfer, which is incredibly hard to find. Probably one of the hardest in the line to find. There is one in here, but it's from Wave 5, and it's a remake, and not as good. The Spider-Man, the Punisher, which had variant, and I think that one was... I don't think there is actually Punisher in here from what I can see. But then an Iron Man. And this Iron Man, they made this mold and they printed 1,000 paint jobs for it. They didn't bother changing it very much. They made one that looked like Silver Centurion. They made one that was like black and gold. And then they took it and used it in the Iron Man toy line as well. Hasbro got their money's worth out of this Iron Man. And a lot of the early waves was, like I said, a lot of Iron Man figures. I never was super into Iron Man. There might be one in this box actually, where it's just like your classic Iron Man, not like the one we saw, but like the golden, I guess Silver Age Iron Man, the red and gold, the original. But everyone thinks of classic Iron Man. But this Spider-Man, I went off on a tangent. This one might be the variant. As you can see in the picture, it's a little bit darker, and the one in the back picture is a little bit darker. So I think this one is actually the variant. Oh, here we go. This one I do know is a variant, and from the first wave. And lots of these variants in the first wave are really hard to find because unless you looked closely, you couldn't tell. Like with that Spider-Man or like the Bullseye that we looked at. And this one's Electro, and he's a little bit easier to tell because he's got the translucent hands. This is a much better Electro figure than the one we got with the old Spider-Man wave. one nice thing that this series did was they gave us a lot of Spider-Man figures that had never really been done justice, and this was definitely one of them. The regular, as I said, this one's the variant. The regular wouldn't have translucent hands. Still came with sparks and everything as add-ons that would attach to the wrists, but I think this one looks better than the standard one, which you can see on the back there. Good figure. And here, actually, so this one, it looks similar to our other Spider-Man, and I'll pull it back out. It looks similar. But this one, I think, is supposed to be based off of Todd McFarlane. To me, it looks more Ditko and classic Ditko with the darker colors. But some of them were variants in a weird way, where the figure would look the exact same, but in the case of this one, and I believe Beast was another one, maybe Scarlet Spider, there was a couple that were a little weird. The figure was the same, but the way they packaged them was different. This Spider-Man's upside down. Looks like he's hanging.
I wonder if they had to pay McFarlane for that package.
I don't know. Like I said, the box art looks McFarlane, but the figure looks more like Ditko. And actually, like I said, with that Iron Man figure, let's see. Oh, I don't have the Iron Man figure. I have shown a picture of it. So, like I said, here's another picture of it. They made a really crappy Silver Centurion out of it. It doesn't look like Silver Centurion at all. It's just a cheap repaint. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's a good figure from Series 5. Warpath.
That is a cool figure. It's one of X-Force.
It is. It is from the X-Force. And this one is actually a repaint, but it's a good one.
No, it's not a repaint.
It is, because there was a Warpath as well.
It's not a repaint. I think it's just a different version. I think there's like a exclusive or whatever variant.
Yeah, he was one of the, and I don't know if there's any in here, but there was some that were fans' choice.
No.
And people got to vote. There was a Mystique, Archangel was one.
Are you sure that wasn't just the harder to find variant for that one?
No, it wasn't a variant, because this one is later in the line. This one is Series 5.
I thought that was one of the variants that was that.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Do I have its twin in here? That's the question. I do. Here we go. So, like I talked about with the Abomination and A-Bomb. Oh, and I actually just found the other one here. So, Abomination. It's the same packaging, but a completely different figure. Why they didn't just make it its own, I'm not sure. They're very different, actually. Like, their bodies, maybe they're the same. They add, like, a wrist gauntlet to make him have his wrists a little bit bulkier, and the heads are different, obviously. Both really good figures.
If you have that with one package instead of making two packaging.
Exactly. That's what I said. They sort of started cheaping out. And that one I could see substituting for a variant, whatever. This one I think is a little bit more inexcusable.
No, that's still good.
And this one, it's Cloak. It's called Marvel Knights. And its variant was Dagger. A great figure. Both are really good.
Oh, it's open.
I see that. The glue's given way on this one. Both really good figures, but why not make them their own?
There's probably not. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe not enough demand for one, so you make it.
Yeah, it just, again, it's weird, but there's not too many Cloak and Dagger figures out in the world, I guess.
They're not.
Here's an example of a repaint again. From the first wave, he was incredibly hard to find, but it's Punisher, and this is one of the ones, like Wave 5, like we keep saying, kept reusing and repainting some of their figures. Still, not a bad figure. He comes with a lot of weapons,
One has
2
gloves
pistols.
and 1 doesn't or some, right?
Some weird,
Like that?
yeah. like they were so minute, some of the changes, but a pretty good Punisher figure. I would prefer if he had a trench coat. When I picture him, my Punisher always has a trench coat. Another classic figure that probably hasn't gotten much. I do know there was one in the Marvel Legends wave. Actually, the new one and the original. It's Baron Zemo.
It's a good Baron Zemo.
It is a good Baron Zemo. And I think he borrows... well, maybe not. I say it has a very...
It's Thunderbolts Baron Zemo.
Yeah, it's not the classic. This is definitely the second Baron Zemo. But it's good. He comes with a sword, comes with a pistol. Really good figure, actually. And this one is in Series 5. It's one of the few in Series 5 that weren't repaints. He's got great shading around his eyes. You can really see the definition of his nose and his eyes around his mask.
He doesn't look like much mouth.
Yeah, it's really good. One of the problems that the current line of figures has with the Marvel Legends. Next here we've got, I believe this one is a I can't remember. I think it's redone. It might not be. It's Richard Rider as Nova.
That's sweet too.
Yeah, it's a good one. A really good figure. It's not the new. It's the original Richard Rider. It's not what's it, Sam Alexander, I think his name is.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit more bulky. But
Dick Rider.
Dick, yeah, it is, isn't it? Dick Rider.
We should have an auction for these toys, Tyler.
I don't know if I want to give them up.
Those Marvel Legend auctions, that's some good cash.
My one complaint about this one is his suit is black and not like a really dark blue. Like it is just plain black.
His suit was black at that point then.
The image they use isn't. I don't know. It's a good figure though. Nova's a bit of a tough figure to make because he looks a bit goofy as soon as you give him the starburst on his helmet. But they do a good job with this figure.
We should go on WhatsApp and sell toys.
This one is a interesting variant, and it wasn't hard to find necessarily, but it was highly sought after.
Is it Mary Jane?
No.
Oh, Iron Patriot.
It's Iron Patriot.
Yeah, this is all during the Dark Adventures.
Yes. But the reason that this particular version is sought after, this one's a variant, it has the Norman Osborn head.
Oh yeah, one just had a regular mask. Right?
Yeah, and it didn't have an interchangeable head. It was just a Norman Osborn head. And I think I had...
Yeah, me too.
I think I had the regular Iron Patriot figure myself out of box as a kid. And this one, I don't believe is a repaint. It very well might be. But they do some modifications to it to make it a little bit different. Like they add the star arc reactor instead of a rounded one or a triangle one, whatever it is. And that is almost the bulk of the change that they do with a lot of the Iron Man figures, is change the shape of the arc reactor. I think one of the reasons they did this was because it was during the Agents of Hammer. Because he is actually the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this time. Reformed as Hammer. Who thought this was going to turn into a history lesson, eh? Another figure from, I believe, this one's Series 3. They had some pretty out there characters. And not that he was out there, but again, a character I think was dead. And if he wasn't dead, he wasn't very popular. Is the original Captain Marvel. Nothing too fancy. He doesn't come with any special accessories or anything. It's number 1 of the 3rd series. And we've got this Doc Samson in the box. There's an Iron Man, I think. I forget the name of what that... I think it's the Bleeding Edge armor. And then you have a World War Hulk. I thought that was his son, Scar, who I think is also a figure in the line. But I don't see in this box. Here's another Captain America. And this one is based off of, I would say, the original Timely Comics Captain America. Not it is World War II, but not like the Ultimate one was. So it's like your Golden Age Captain America. So he's got the same shield, but vastly different figure. He's got a little bit more muted colors. Good figure nonetheless. And this one, and it seems like it would have been an obvious first choice, but like I said, originally in the line, they were doing a lot of figures based off of the Ultimate comic series. So this one is just like your classic Captain America. He doesn't have like the scale mail suit or anything. Just if anyone remembers like the '90s Captain America movie, he's like looks like he's in a weird rubber outfit. One of the ones that's not a repaint in Series 5, but a bit of a cheaper looking figure because of the lack of detail. But for the version of Captain America they're doing, it does fit. Let's see. Oh, here we go. The Iron Man. Not Bleeding Edge, the modular armor. One of the few Iron Man figures in this line that aren't a repaint. Although I'm sure some of the Iron Mans after this used it. I'm sure someone was happy to have all these Iron Man figures. Personally, growing up, who needs more than one Iron Man? Here's a.
I forgot the best Iron Man of them all. Ozzy Osbourne.
And this one is. Someone really didn't like this figure. It's Doc Samson.
I love Doc Samson. He's the stupid. Oh.
Yeah, his face is
you
all
know what?
ripped
We
off.
found clearance somewhere. That's why.
Probably.
Yeah. It's the stupidest costume, but it looks neat.
He looks like a Golden Age Flash with green hair, missing. He's an interesting character. I only know him from the Hulk cartoon back in the 90s.
That's all he is. He's a psychiatrist that ended up getting Hulk powers.
Yeah, he's a weird choice for a character, but like I said, Series 3 chose a lot of more obscure characters to draw some of the more hardcore fans into this.
He's a huge Hulk character, especially with all that Red Hulk and Abomination stuff going on. He was a lot part of that.
Here, this one is a little bit more forgivable. So it is a repaint of that original Iron Man figure, but it does have an alternate head with Tony Stark's face. So I can forgive it for that. It does something different. It's not just painting it differently. It's passable. I don't hate it. I do like it. These figures have interchangeable heads.
They're probably some of the first figures to do that.
Potentially. I mean, people were doing it with their G.I. Joes for a long time.
Potentially. Potentially. That's in the past. You mean possibly?
No, they were potentially the first to do it.
Potentially it means in the future. You mean possibly
Well,
they were the first.
It doesn't matter.
Sure it does.
Here we have based on his first appearance. Ooh, this one's really dusty. Let me get my cloth here.
That's your official toy dusting cloth?
This is Nat Daddy sponsored toy dusting cloth.
Yep.
Just like our Nat Daddy sponsored iced coffee. It's not bad. It tastes like Kahlua. No alcohol.
I brewed it.
Apparently, we make our own iced coffee now. Probably save us a lot of money, actually.
It's their dollar menu now, so of course not.
I saw that. So we got first appearance Wolverine, and it even says it on the package. I've never really disliked this version of Wolverine.
I always like a first appearance Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because they have that skinny nose on them and the yellow.
And that's what I was gonna say. I don't. The only thing I don't like is the weird whiskers around his mouth, and they do have that.
Too.
But I do quite like the more narrow eye slits. We do have in
Because
here.
usually when they have old Wolverine stuff, it's just Wolverine with the yellow and blue. They don't change his
Yes,
face
and
ever,
that's actually a figure they didn't do, and it upsets me a bit. is they didn't do a nice classic orange and brown Wolverine in this line that I know of. The next figure here is also Wolverine, and there were quite a few of them. There was like a Weapon X Wolverine. There was a
X-Force
I
one
think there
as
was an
well.
X-Force one. Yeah. This one is like the astonishing X-Men Wolverine.
The Joshua one or whatever, yeah. Joshua, or I forget, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's from Astonishing X-Men. I don't remember the writing team on it.
Same guy that did Buffy.
Oh, Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Yeah. A really good Wolverine figure. I think in a perfect world, I would take the head of this one and put it onto the body of this one, and you'd have a very good classic Wolverine figure. I do like the Astonishing Wolverine. It was a nice reinvention of his suit, but you can't beat the classic. You just can't.
Yeah, that's my second favorite yellow and blue suit.
Continuing on with more X-Men, I suppose.
Go do the Apocalypse.
Well, we'll do that when we get there. Continuing on with more X-Men. Again, some of the ones you'd think the top of the box would be more dusty, but the bottom of this box is terribly dusty.
Isn't that scary?
Is Cyclops, the Jim Lee.
For sure, Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, you should send that into Jim Lee to sign at CGC right now.
No. It's a really great Cyclops figure. When people think of Cyclops, this is the Cyclops they think of.
What, X-Men 1 Cyclops?
Yeah.
Jim Lee X-Men 1?
I don't know if it was in this particular series. I don't know when X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, they did a couple X-Men figures to go with that line, and there was a X-Factor Cyclops in that one. I think that one might have been based off the Astonishing line, actually.
And that was like the retro line.
No, that one wasn't a retro line. It was just based off of the movie. But yeah, really solid. There was actually quite a few X-Men characters that they started basing off of the Jim Lee. And that was the first time those type of figures had been done since Toy Biz was doing them in the early 90s. Let's see. I know we have a few more X-Men. Let's get the X-Men out of the way. So this one, it's Beast. Again, based off the Astonishing X-Men. Beast is one of my favorite Marvel characters, and that is because of the 90s show. I've never been a massive fan of the cat-like Beast. They did him in was X-Men First Class, and he was a little bit more beasty after that in the subsequent films. But it is a good figure. However, given that they did some of the characters to look more like their 90s versions, I would have preferred the Jim Lee Blue Beast, and they could have done a variant and make him look gray like his original Beast appearance. Or Beast Lee appearance, rather. Still a really good figure, and a neat touch to pose him upside down in his box. It's not a manufacturing error or anything, that's just how some of them came packaged.
What, and some of Spidey's? There was
Some of the
one, there
Spideys.
was one that was a mistake where it's packaged upside down.
Here we go. I think this is our last X-Men I see in here. This one, probably one of the coolest figures in this line.
So big.
He is, and it's weighty. It's quite heavy. I think the only one that's even close to this weight is probably the Thanos I had earlier, or one of the Hulks was quite heavy. It was like it was made of solid steel. It's the Apocalypse. Not the Apocalypse, but Apocalypse. I remember as a kid, I didn't really enjoy this figure, and I passed up on buying it. But again, because the 90s series is one that... TV shut off on us?
Oh, I had to turn the TV back on.
Oh, that's fine. We don't need the TV on anyway. Oh, well. Oh, came back on its own. Isn't that nice? I don't know... I don't read a whole lot of the X-Men comics, so I don't know when Apocalypse looked like this. Probably during or around the Astonishing X-Men time, I would imagine. A really good figure. Very nicely sculpted, very detailed. Has some like weird wires coming into his neck. Really, really good figure. I think I was a little bit stuck in my ways as a kid, wanting the more original, like from the 90s cartoon. But that's a good design on that one as well. Let's get the last of the Captain America figures out of the way. We've got Steve Rogers as the Captain. So this is when I believe he was the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he was just called the Captain. A very nice figure. He's got a pretty good face sculpt. I think this is one of the only figures in this line to give Steve Rogers a face. But overall, really nice figure.
Old Steve Rogers, right?
No.
Oh.
There might have been a variant that turned his hair gray, but I don't recall. This was either just before that or when he came back from being old. Another Captain America character is Bucky. Now, I don't remember if the Winter Soldier had his own figure or if it was actually exactly this but a variant of it. But either way, another figure or a character you don't see a whole lot of toys made of is Bucky. The box art on it shows him looking a little bit older, but as you can see in the picture here, he is based off his original younger self. Comes with 2 Tommy guns, or at least that's what I would consider them to be. Again, I'm not a gun fanatic. I don't know. We're getting down to the final 10-ish. Oh, look at what we have here. A little miniature Joker Funko Pop fell out of the bottom of this box.
Maybe it's regular and just dried out.
Yeah, maybe. It's got weird swirly eyes on it, actually. Patriot. Someone who people are speculating to show up in the MCU. The
grandson.
Yeah, it's not Isaiah Bradley. I think it's Eli Bradley.
Yeah.
Who he is in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show.
Elijah Bradley.
I think in that he's Elijah. That's correct.
That's Elijah short for Eli.
Yeah. But again, a good figure, and they do have the Young Avengers cover there, an iconic cover now. Everyone's looking for that book. Super hot book. Probably a figure that a lot of people weren't looking to get at the time.
Nope.
The Young Avengers weren't super hot, but a really nice figure nonetheless. I do believe is mostly a repaint of Bucky, just with a different head. Actually, as we were just talking
Isn't
about...
there a sweet Juggernaut in that set?
There was a sweet Juggernaut. Archangel. The X-Men figures really shone in this line. We've also got Falcon. Speaking of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. A really good Falcon figure. Really nice. I believe the wings clipped into the back of his arms, so allowing you to move them.
They're not those red transparent wings, are they?
Yep. They are the red transparent ones, yeah. And he's also comes with Red Wing, a little Red Wing figure. This line was really good for including accessories that weren't useless. Unless you consider the Mary Jane figure that came with
Ms. Lion.
Ms. Lion.
Oh, that's cool.
That was great. It really was. But probably one of the stranger figures to come out of this.
Was there an Aunt May one?
I was
with
just
flapjacks?
thinking. I was just
I think there
thinking.
was, right? Was there an Aunt May with flapjacks?
I don't remember if there's an Aunt May one or not. I was just thinking that.
I'm pretty sure there was an Aunt May one. She had flapjacks.
Here, so this is one I mentioned earlier. In the original line, in the original wave, there was a Silver Surfer figure. And it was really great. He was actually chrome painted. Like, it was mirror reflective almost. It was great.
That's cool.
This one, for some reason they went back and re-sculpted the body and made him really long in the torso. Like they stretched it out. while his coloring is okay, it's that nice frosted silvery metallic. It just doesn't hold up to that original figure that they had, which is unfortunate because that was a really hard figure to get. Again, Series 5, it was the end of the line. They were making some really questionable decisions. I'm just noticing he has really small hands. Doing this backwards is hard, but really small hands. Weird proportions on this figure. And actually, the board they have in the package is not the same one they have displayed on the back. Strange. We're getting down to some of the really nice ones in the line here that I've held off. And let's get some Spider-Man out of the way. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Iron Spider,
That's a good one.
but you can't deny that this is a really good figure.
I like it. He's always had like a darker scarlet color to it.
It does, and it's got to like transitional red on it. It's not just
Looks like shiny red.
yeah, and it's something that I've said that all of these figures have is really nice shading. Unfortunately, later in the series, like Series 5, they did lose that shading a bit. Probably one of the reasons that Captain America we looked at just a little bit ago looked so plasticky. So he didn't have that nice shading. But a really nice figure nonetheless, this one. And actually, we were just talking about the Mary Jane and Ms. Lion, and she's on the back of
Do
this.
you have that one in there?
It's not.
I wish I never covered
That one was a hard one to find
I should have saved it.
because of Miss Lion is the reason. Let's go with a personal favorite in this line of mine, and it's just a personal favorite whenever they do a figure of him. And I have downstairs in my own personal area the very first ever figure of this character. And it's Scarlet Spider.
See that? Yeah, him upside down. That's cool.
Yeah. This, it doesn't have a whole lot of shading on the actual figure, which is fine for the Scarlet Spider, I think. If you put too much shading on him, I don't think it looks very good. But his ripped, not tunic, his ripped hoodie does have a fair amount of shading on that. And it's good. It's not done a whole lot. It's not even shading per se.
And he's got separate gauntlets, right?
I don't know actually.
Oh yeah.
They look like his little wrist gauntlets
Yeah,
there,
they're
his
separate.
cartridges. They look like they might be independent.
They do.
You're
They
right.
come off on the
The belt as well is independent.
We had an open one, I think.
But a really good figure. No, the open one's the one I have downstairs, the original.
Oh.
From the same time as the Toy Biz Spider-Mans, actually. Here, we'll do this one. Another more difficult one to find because it was in the earlier waves.
Love all of them.
And a figure we do have downstairs in that original Toy Biz line. Actually, a first appearance of that figure as well. This the Spider-Man 2099.
I love the wings in there.
It has really nice wings. One really nice thing about this, and they, like I said, they don't cheap out in these earlier waves, is he's all metallic. He's an all metallic blue. And that kind of picks up on screen here. A really great figure. For those of you that have watched our show when we've covered anything 2099, I'm not a massive Spider-Man 2099 or even 2099 Marvel Universe fan in general. But one of the better figures in this line, which is hard to choose a good figure. Definitely, well, not definitely, I said probably not any in the fifth wave.
One figure we never got or never even saw because they had to mail away for it was
The Nick Fury, yeah. Yeah, and that, I don't have any more of the early wave in here. Let's see. Here, the Bullseye. So, it doesn't even say on the back of the Bullseye. But inside of the Fury files, you could get, I think it was like a little sticker or something almost. You collected enough of them, and you mail away and you get a Nick Fury figure.
Kind of like the
And-
old G.I. Joes.
And it would be just like that Nick Fury there.
Yeah, there was a Moon Knight. Now I remember it.
There was a Moon Knight, and it's a pretty good Moon Knight. Here's a really good one, and one that I do wish they had a variant for to be more like the Nick Cage, the more like the modern Ghost Rider. So this one is actually based off of the classic Johnny Cage. He's got the blue motorcycle riding suit. He's got the light blue highlights. Still a really great figure.
Johnny Blaze.
Yes, Johnny Blaze, not Johnny Cage. Mixing Nick Cage. But again, I do wish this one had a variant that added the spikes on his shoulders and it was a black. But a really neat effect done on his chain whip there. So it is a translucent orange piece, however, it's painted over top of it up until that very end. So I imagine playing with it, it probably became all translucent orange pretty quick. A really, really good figure. Here on the back, we have the Mystique, the Multiple Man, and Wolverine from Weapon X, I believe, when he was working for Weapon X. The Mystique was one of the fan vote ones at the
That was a
time.
great cut when I had it.
The Mystique one was really good. Those fan vote ones ended up being really good figures. Here's
And
another
didn't
personal.
he, in the Archangel there, they had a variant for that too. It had Death Head and regular head. Right?
Yeah, the variant for Archangel was the
Death
Golden Death Mask. Another personal favorite in this line, and I'm not entirely sure why it was, but oh my goodness! And there's a figure back here I didn't know they ever did, and I wish we had it. We'll
Would
look
you?
at it after.
Oh, great. Okay.
Ultron. And it's a really good Ultron. It's a mix of an original Ultron and like an Age of Ultron sort of figure. I do wish this one had a variation of it with the red mouth, but I do recall in the 2 packs when they did them with the little comic, I believe it was a comic insert anyway, of the Secret Wars series, that they did have a classic Ultron. But a really good modern interpretation of Ultron. And really good box art for him up there as well. I've noticed on the back here, figures, actually 2 figures I don't remember them having. Now I do remember there being a Submariner, and it was a very good Submariner figure. But I don't recall there being an X-23 or a Darkhawk figure.
No, neither.
Now,
Actually, I do remember there being a Dark Hawk.
knowing what I know now, and I guess the cult popularity of Darkhawk, I wish there was a Darkhawk in here.
I think I had a Dark Hawk.
I'm sure you did.
I might have had X-23 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was part of the X-Force.
Yep.
I might have had Submariner too.
Oh, I think you did.
There was a two.
There was
a-
2 Submariners.
yeah, it was
There's
one
one with
that-
his pants, and there was
Yeah.
one where that one.
Yeah.
We're getting down to 3 of the last of the really good ones.
That's a good one.
This one is.
Is that the Spectral one too?
It is not.
No.
So here we have Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange wasn't a character that got a whole lot of attention at this point. This is 2010, so well before his movie. I think that was 2016, so 6 years prior. A really good figure. Amazing detail. Nice painted gold, and actually along the trim of the cape as well. Really nicely done. You can see his gloves even have the black speckles on them. Really nicely done. But that's not the only thing with this figure that was interesting. This is just the standard figure. There was also his astral projected form as well. And it was a blue translucent figure. But they did something really neat where there was like they put glitter in the plastic or something. Like he glistened. It was really, really interesting. This one, not that it's the lesser of the 2, but to see that other one in person, that one is really stand out. Similar to the vision we had, but like I said, there was like a glitter inside of the plastic. It was really, really nice figure. Hard to find, very hard to find. Ooh, this is tough. So we'll do one of the ones that they probably could have done a little earlier on, and it probably would have paid off for them because he's a character that lends himself really well in this style. We covered Kraven the Hunter in the Toy Biz line, but he does show up towards the end of this. He's one of the characters in Series 4, and it is a really nice Kraven the Hunter. He's really, really good. Comes with a spear, comes with what looks like a necklace. I'm not sure why it's not on him already, but a really nice detail. Every little bit of his shoes or his vest is all individually painted. They don't cheap out by making it one flat color and just putting eyes on it. It's really, really nicely done. Even the armbands on his biceps are done. Really great figure. Really nicely. Has red eye. I guess like he's been taking some potions or something to enhance himself. Or he hasn't slept in a while. Maybe it's even meant to be war paint. I'm not sure. But a really great Kraven the Hunter figure. Probably a version that would have been adapted really nicely on screen, actually. And then our final one we have in this box, I think up there with the Scarlet Spider and the Doctor Strange and the Apocalypse. One of my absolute favorites in this series. And for good reason. It's Doctor Doom. A really nice interpretation of the figure. It's got that nice classic Doom face. It's not the newer one where the long mouthpiece. It's his classic, looks like bolted together Doctor Doom. Really, really nice. There was a classic Doctor Doom done for this series as well. But I think he was in a 2-pack with Ulysses Claw for the Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a really nice figure. They really did hit their stride in Series 3. Great figures in Series 3.
It was a Blob, wasn't it?
No, the Blob was out of the X-Men Origins Wolverine wave. And that's it. That is all of it. You see them are all stacked there on the Spider-Men are all there. I've got to pack them up nicely in this box again until I find where I'm going to put them down in my cave. But yeah, I figured why not take a little video while we go through these. I was going to have all these same internal thoughts or talk to the voices in my head saying all the same stuff, so why not talk to you guys? That's it for today. We'll see you in a few days, I guess. I don't even know if we have our comic list yet, but I do know this week there is some pretty good stuff coming out. We will be talking about the Kenobi show a little bit. Great first 2 episodes. So in the meantime, I will see you all on Thursday.